Shalom Israel, Salakia. One second. All right, Shalom Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakathom to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Latah Shem Yahushua to all the sisters. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out in 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class, where we go into the Hebrew, our native language, our native tongue, and break down words, how to converse with one another in the Hebrew, right? And we do this every week. You know what I'm saying? So we can take back our culture that's been stolen from us. You know what I'm saying? Our ways of life, our practices, our dietary law, our law, statutes, and commandments, and also our language. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole point of this class that we do every week on Friday at 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Back at it again, right? So we're going to get back into, we're going to start off how we always, you know what I'm saying, how we always start off, you know what I'm saying, with the alphabet. At this point, you know what I'm saying, you should have the Hebrew alphabet in your notes, you know what I'm saying, whether it's it should be written down somewhere, you know what I'm saying, at the beginning of Lashawan Qadash class when we first started, couple months ago, earlier this year. I recommended that brothers and sisters, in order to practice your penmanship, to write the Hebrew characters, you know what I'm saying, over and over, just like we used to do in kindergarten, right, with the English alphabet, right? You know, I recommended for brothers and sisters to, in the Assyrian and the ancient Hebrew, to write down each character, to familiarize yourself, to familiarize not only your eyes, be able to point out characters by sight, but also familiarize your hand penmanship with the ancient and the Assyrian Hebrew. So I recommended that to brothers and sisters at the beginning. And if you're still not comfortable with writing the Hebrew in Assyrian or the ancient Hebrew or both, I highly recommend for you to get on top of that. All right, you know what I'm saying? Just take a couple seconds out of, or a couple minutes out of the day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe an hour. You know what I'm saying? Just out of your day, right? You know what I'm saying? We take a couple hours out of our day to binge watch shows. A couple hours out of our day to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Whatever you know what I'm saying? We take hours out of our day to, you know what I'm saying, do anything else, right? You know what I'm saying? Just spend an hour, you know what I'm saying, a couple minutes to an hour out of your day to just practice writing your language. And I promise you, I guarantee you that if you do that, you're going to become flawless with at least writing the Hebrew characters. Right? But it's just gonna take a little bit of diligence initially, just off the top. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to spend a few minutes just writing down the Hebrew, a few minutes out of every day. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta write down every character in one day. I know I you know what I'm saying, if you got the zeal to do that, most time Christ, I know I for sure didn't do that. But you know, it doesn't hurt to just take a few minutes out of the day to just write down each character and get your penmanship right. All right. That's what I did. I just took a few minutes out of the day from all the way to thought, right, in the Hebrew. So it took me just to be transparent, it took me about 3 or 4 days to do that. Just taking a couple minutes out of the day, just writing it over and over and over, getting familiar with it. So that's what I recommend. That's what I recommend for brothers and sisters to do. You know what I'm saying? If it's not quite comfortable for you to, or you're not quite familiar with writing the Lashawan Qadash, but you know what I'm saying? Just to reiterate, you should have the Lashawan Qadash, the alphabet in your notes somewhere, whether you have the printout or you should have the writing too. But you know what I'm saying? Also, if you need the printout, just for your notes purposes so that you can practice writing it, then, you know what I'm saying, you could just hit me up directly. I believe it's on the website. I know it's going through some revamping right now, but it might be on the website. If not, you know what I'm saying, you could hit me up directly, hit up your camp leader, and they can point you in the right direction if you know what I'm saying, out of town, or if you not in the Khalid zone. But if you're in the Khalid zone, you could, or if you're not in the Khalid zone, you could hit me up directly. All right, and I'll make sure I get that to you. But you do need to have that because we're about to go over the Lashawan Qadash alphabet. Right? So as we go over the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, just at home, just, you know what I'm saying, follow along with your notes or whatever you got. And, you know what I'm saying, we're going to get in this thing. All right? So the Lashawan Qadash alphabet, we got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Kha, Ta, Ya, Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, I, Pa, Taza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Tha. Right? That's the Hebrew alphabet. And also, you should say it, right? Like when we go over it in class or when you're just studying at home, you should verbally say it, right? Because language, the Lashawan Qadash is a language, the holy tongue, the holy tongue or the holy language. That's what the word tongue means. So it's something that's meant to be spoken. So it's one thing to write it, you know what I'm saying, to be an expert at writing it, but a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, like it's easier to write than it is to speak, right? You have to work on, because there's a lot more that goes into speech than goes into writing. You write, and then, you know what I'm saying, that's what it is. It's up to the reader's interpretation. But when you're speaking, you have inflection, you have dialect, you have pronunciation, you have lisp, you have, you know what I'm saying, all these things. You have stutters. You have all these things that play a part in how a language is spoken. So just as I suggested that brothers and sisters practice writing the Lashawan Qadash, the same way we should practice speaking it or saying it, and starting with the alphabet, the characters in the alphabet. All right. So as we go over it, just practice A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za. Right? You gotta, you know what I'm saying? When we first started, I suggested a cadence to help brothers, you know what I'm saying, memorize it. You can say the Lashawan Qadash alphabet in the cadence of the ABC song that you learned in, you know what I'm saying, in kindergarten. So if that's something that you have to do, that's something that I had to do, for sure. If that's something that you have to do, feel free to do that. But as long as you just practice saying it, right? Whatever the case is. If you got any questions, Salaki. You got any questions in the classroom, or you got questions online? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Just get your questions answered. All right. You know what I'm saying? That's what this class is for. So if you got any questions online or in the classroom, just put it in the chat or raise your hand or whatever you got to do. And, you know what I'm saying, let's take back our culture. All right. So, anything else I want to cover? Okay. So last week we went over, or not last week, Salakia, we had the, you know what I'm saying, the annual Houston cookout. You know what I'm saying, last week. So we didn't do Lashawan Qadash last week. And, you know what I'm saying, if I couldn't say, you know what I'm saying, that joint was glorious. You know what I'm saying, Most High in Christ for that. Most High in Christ, you know what I'm saying, for all the brothers and sisters who was able to make it down to Houston and enjoy brotherhood with, you know what I'm saying, all the brothers in Texas and all the brothers who was able to come out of town. You know what I'm saying, Most High in Christ, it's good to see y'all. You know what I'm saying, now we right back at it, you know what I'm saying? Right back to work. But 2 weeks ago, you know what I'm saying, when we had class, we talked about the nations of the Bible. We reviewed Salakia. We reviewed how to say who, what, when, where, and why in the Lashawan Qadash. We went over that, and then as we learned the nations of the Bible, we learned how to form sentences using the who, what, when, where, and why that we learned. And we also incorporated the nations of the Bible to form questions and also answering those questions so that we can learn how to compound our knowledge into conversation. So we're going to kind of compound on that lesson from a couple weeks ago. So last couple weeks ago, we talked about the 12 tribes of Israel, their biblical names. Salaki, 1 second. All right, so yeah, we talked about the 12 tribes and their biblical names. Today, we are going to get into the biblical names of the nations, right? The nations of the Bible. All right, so we got So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, we're gonna go over. It's like you about to say something? No. Okay, no, sir. But we got 12 more nations that we're gonna go over. So we went over the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So we're gonna pick back up on the 12 nations of the Bible. So we know the 12 tribes make up the nation of Israel, right? And we're also going to continue to practice forming questions, right? Like we did last week, using the prepositions, possessive, the words that we already know. We're going to apply the things that we already learned and compound on our knowledge so that we can learn something new, right? That's the whole name of the game. So, 1 second. So first, before we go into the nations, we're going to kind of do a little review. All right. And also with your questions, you know what I'm saying? We had a little break. So Lord willing, brothers and sisters had the opportunity to practice a little bit with the Lashawan Qadash. So, you know what I'm saying, along with your questions or comments or whatever you got going on in the chat, also, you know what I'm saying, with the homework that I gave last Lashawan Qadash class, you know what I'm saying, I have brothers and sisters practice writing questions and forming sentences using what we already know. So if you've been practicing at home and if you've been practicing at home, you know what I'm saying, just put that in the chat as well, and we'll see where we at with it. All right. So questions, comments, and you know what I'm saying, questions, comments, and you know what I'm saying, sentences that we was able to form our own during practice. All right. So just to review, we're gonna see if we remember what we've been learning the past couple weeks. So we went over who, what, when, where, and why. So if you remember or based off your notes, you know what I'm saying, you can put it in the chat. You can raise your hand, but just tell me if just whatever you remember. You know, it's cool if you don't remember every single one, but if you could remember something, or if you could just revisit your notes and refresh your memory, you know what I'm saying? If you remember what we went over, you know what I'm saying, just see if you could tell me what all these words mean. So we got who, what, when, where, let's see what we remember. So I can give y'all a little second to get a. Are you about to raise your hand?
Yeah, I'll wait till you get through. Yeah.
Oh no, you 12. Go ahead. I was just going off you.
Oh, one sign card. Now,
So what you got, Priest?
all right, so okay, I think I know the first one. Is it Maya?
Damn, most time Christ. Get that brother a hand.
Off
the dome too. That nigga ain't even go to his notes. Off the dome. Hey. You want to try right now on the board though?
Yeah.
So we got Maya.
Maya.
I'm trying to cheat.
All right, I think the second. I know the second one. I think I know it.
Okay, most time Christ.
Let's see.
Are you in Hebrew for Maya?
Oh, slap.
Oh no, you got it. And if you got
Hebrew for it. Okay.
right, kind of.
Okay.
I'm gonna see what this chat talking about.
Sure. Oh no.
I'm gonna write a little bit bigger.
Oh no. Yeah, slap.
For class.
Okay.
Almost. You about 90% there.
Yeah. Hold on, miss. That's right.
Real close. I'm gonna give you a second though.
All right. Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm tripping.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, how do you write a za?
Right, za.
Yeah, character za in ancient Hebrew.
Ancient. Like a Z.
Right. So you're trying to write a what?
A Z.
No. Okay. So the word is Maya, and it's a ma. I see you got your
Ma.
Yeah, ma, and then what's the last one?
Ya.
So what separates a ya from a za?
Gotcha.
Damn right, there, brother.
I got to remember my handwriting. Terrible.
Oh, you got it. Now that's why I said you was 90% there. You just need that little joint right there in the middle.
Right.
You'll try it in the series?
Siri? Okay. Siri. Ma. Okay. Yeah, this. Okay.
All right. And give yourself a hand. Most High Christ. Damn right. So we got the first one is who, right? Maya. Maya, right? Pronounce it just like that. You said you had the you had the second one?
Cud. Is it Maha? Ma?
Right.
Ma.
Ma. Ma is gonna be the second one.
Okay.
All right. You wanna give a shot on any of the other ones? While I'm writing this in the
I can't remember the I got my notebook, man.
So we got in the serum, we got and then in the ancient. You say you can't remember?
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like it.
I want to give the brothers and sisters online a chance. Okay. That participation on E right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, hey, no sweat. No, that's like you came off the dome with that joint with two of them with a 2-piece. And most High Christ. Give y'all just a little bit longer. Let me see. I see it's, you know what I'm saying, three up in the chat. See what we know. All right, I'm gonna get the next one up. All right. So we got. I'll write it in the Hebrew first, and then I'm gonna give y'all a new chance. Last but not least.
I'm trying to get it.
Oh, no sweat. Go ahead and handle your business. Okay. Who is that? I see somebody, I think somebody, I don't know who that brother or sister is, but okay, I see okay, Most High in Christ, sister, you're exactly correct. For when
Oh man.
oh Salaki.
I just had it too.
Most High in Christ. That sister said Ma Ya. You absolutely correct. Mata Ya, right? That's how you would say when or ask when. Right? Let me see, we write it in a different color. So lastly, we got where and why. All right? Where and why. You got
I got where is it it's like yeah.
damn right. That's not Christ. You got yeah. That's where. All right? Last one. Why. This is really the easiest one right here. Because it was the easiest one to remember. Let me see if we got another answer. Okay. One time Christ. Okay, the sister put it up in there.
Oh yeah, we got it.
But now you got it.
Mud the white.
Damn right. Hey, give yourselves a hand, man. One time Christ. You and the sister was absolutely correct. That's what you got. By the why. To say why. Right? Yeah, right. It's in the name, Manda why. To say why. All right. So that one should be real easy to remember. You know what I'm saying? But we just gonna have to practice, right? Practice. Study. You know what I'm saying? Or just, you know what I'm saying, review it, just look at it, read it every now and then, just take a look back at it, practice speaking to one another in the Lashawan Qadash, and it'll be, you know what I'm saying, real easy for us to retain the information. Now, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and practice forming sentences like we did last Lashawan Qadash class. We're gonna practice forming sentences using this who, what, where, when, why. We're gonna practice forming sentences using this who, what, when, where, why. And we're gonna also practice using the names of the nations, right? So we got the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So now we're gonna do it like we did last week. So we asked the question, okay, we asked who is your father last week. So now we're gonna ask, or what is your father rather? So we're gonna ask another question. What is your mother? Right? Now, in past class, we talked about the name for mother, right? So let's see if we remember the name for mother. I'm gonna give y'all a second. But if you got the answer, put it in the chat, just raise your hand. All right? Yeah, a little second, right? I'll set this up. So first, before we get there, okay, I see one answer in the chat. Okay, Most High Christ, and that sister is correct. Most High Christ, yeah, that sister hand. Now, before we move forward, while we're to ask this question, how would you say? Well, I'm just you want to give it a shot on what mother is, or
I know it's on the tip of my tongue.
it's very similar to
Abba.
yeah.
Abba. Man.
I know it's right there. So we know while you think about it, I'm gonna give you a second. Well, we know the word for what is ma, like we just went over. So the question that we're asking is ma, and then whatever the name for mother is. All right.
Let's start with a ha.
No.
So, yeah.
The father is Abba.
Oh, is it?
Go ahead.
It's Ama.
Damn right. Hey, give yourselves a hand, man. Give yourselves.
I know it was on the tip of my tongue. I didn't want to say it. I was like.
Most time Christ. So y'all on fire today. So Ama. The mother is Ama, right? Ma. Now the sentence is Ma Ama. So now, so far we got what mother? Now we have to attach somebody to it. We have to attach somebody to it. Whether we're talking about you, me. So how would you attach a person to it? You would need a
possession.
Damn right. Hey, give yourself a hand, man.
It's like,
Damn right.
it's like I knew you was asking. I thought
Yeah.
it was totally real.
It's a lot. Okay. So you would need a possessive. So now we're asking, what is your mother? Right? We're asking, what is your mother? So how would you ask, what is your mother? The sister got it in the chat. Don't you?
The cheat codes. Sister already got it.
Yeah, the sister got it in the chat. You know what it is?
Man. No, I don't.
Okay, no sweat. Well, on the board.
We'll be like, cuh.
Damn right. Damn right. Both of y'all. Yeah,
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, y'all selves ahead. Y'all selves ahead, man. So the suffix would be ka, right? So ma, ka. What is your mother? Right? Ma, ka. Right? So to answer that question, you would say, now we're answering a question. So somebody asked you, they said, ma amaka. So they're asking you, what is your mother? So how would you respond? So how would you respond in English? Somebody said, what is your mother? You would start the sentence with,
My mother is.
Right. My mother is fill in the blank. Right? So how would you say my mother is in the Lashawan Qadash?
So
Go ahead.
will be Ya Ama Ka. No.
You close. I see what you're doing. You put the.
Why
Okay, so let me ask you. Why did you say? Okay, I see what both of y'all did, right? So why did you say Ya Ama? Why did you say that?
Because I just saw my. Because but possessive though.
Right.
Because that's why I said it, because I saw mine right there.
Okay, but why? Where do the possessives go?
At the end.
Right. So instead of saying Ya Ama, it would be.
Yeah.
Damn right. Just like Amaka, the possessive still goes at the end. So to answer that question, right, you would say Ya, my mother. Lucky. You would say Ya. Damn right, sis. Ya. But just remember, the possessive is attached to the root word, sis. So when you write it, Ya, it's all together. Like in the Lord's Prayer, Abba Nawa, our Father, it's attached to the root word. That's where the possessives are. You got it, sis. Just bring it together. Ya. So my Father, and as we learned last week, or as we know in our language, just like we speak it in English, the is implied. Like you would respond, or somebody asks you, what's your father? Or what your father is. You know what I'm saying? That's how we talk. That's how we speak the language. So you will respond, my father Judah, my father Gad. Right? The is implied in the Lashawan Qadash. So you got Amaya, and then it's where we're gonna get right into the nations, right? So we learned last week also that the nations of the Bible, or according to Numbers chapter, where you at? Right, yeah, Cont, sis. Yeah, that's exactly how you would write it. Most High Christ. So we know that the nations of the Bible or the people of the Bible, you are according to Numbers chapter 1 verse 18, you would you are of your father. You are defined by the nationality of your father. So if your father is a certain nation, if he's Gadite and a Gadite happens to, lay with a Judite, then you're a Gadite with a Judite mother. If, like King Solomon, he had heathen wives. He had a couple of heathen wives that turned his heart away from the Most High, like Deuteronomy says. He had heathen wives, turned his heart away from the Most High. But his children were still Judites because he was a Judite, because King David was a Judite, because you are called by the seed of your father. So we know that, our people are, called by the seed of their father. But just for practice purpose, for applying the Hebrew in speech, we're just going to use this sentence, or we're going to use this phrase to form a sentence, right? So, Ma Abaka, what is your father, or what is your mother? Salakia, what is your mother? You will respond, I'm a Yah. Now, if you're of the 12 tribes of Israel, you would respond, my mother is an Israelite or Israel, right? All right, so just like we did last week, as you take notes, just make sure you take clear, concise notes, whatever version of the Hebrew you need to practice writing in. Practice writing in either one or both, whatever your necessities is. I'm going to write in the Assyrian just to get us comfortable and familiar with seeing the Assyrian Hebrew. But whatever you need to write in, just do that. Take your notes, take clear, concise notes. And if you have questions along the way, ask those questions, all right? We're going to get right into it. So we should already know how to say Israel in the Hebrew, right? Right. So I ain't going to placate with this. I'm going to just go ahead, put it on up here. We already know Israel is Yah, Shar, Yashar, Allah. All right. So we know. Now, do we know what, Salakia, do we know what Israel means, Yasharallah means, where that comes from? Why our nation is called Yasharallah. What you got, priest?
Doesn't mean the prince of the power.
Right. So, damn right. Give yourself a hand. So, Yasharallah means prince of the power. All right, prince of the Most High, prince of the power, because Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, he wrestled with an angel all night. You know what I'm saying? And the angel renamed him Israel because it said that, and we don't have to go to the scripture, but or you can, you know what I'm saying? If you need the scripture, just let me know. I'll give it to you. But I'm just paraphrasing for time's sake. But he wrestled with an angel all night and for a blessing, right? And he got his name changed to Israel. And the angel told him, your name is no longer Jacob. You will now be called Israel because you have power with God, right? You have power with, and we know that word God means angel, messenger, power, or authority, right? Which is Allah, right? So Allah right here is angel, messenger, power of authority because he wrestled with the angel. So he has power with the angel. He has power with God, right? And so now we got this word, Yashar, right? Meaning what? So Yashar Allah means Prince of the Power, and we know Allah means power, so we can assume that Yashar means
Prince.
right, Prince. So Yashar Allah means Prince of the Power or Israel, right? So what is your mother? Ma Abaka. You will respond. I'll give it a shot.
Oh, my Abaka. With the name?
Yeah, responding to the question. The question is Ma Abaka. So I'm asking
you
you.
asked me the question.
Yeah, I'm asking you
Okay.
Ma Abaka.
Amaya. Hold on. Good night.
Salaki, I said Abba. Ma Amaka. Salaki. Ma Amaka.
And I respond, Amaya Yashala.
Damn right. No sign of Christ.
Amaya.
Yeah.
Amaya Yashala.
Damn right. No sign of Christ.
I say it with it, right? Amaya.
Yeah,
Amaya
right.
Yashala.
Right. Damn right. But that's how you would say that, right? Amaya Yashala. My mother is an Israelite. My mother is one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yashala. Most High Christ. Sister got it too. Most High Christ. So next up, we're going to get into the heathen nations, right? And we went over this a little bit before also. So next up, we got Edom, right? And we went over this in a couple classes in the past, right? So I'm going to ask Ma Abaka. Now, if your mother was an Edomite, how would you respond? Ma Amaka. All right. Do we remember how to say Edom in the Lashawan Qadash? My mother is, let me put it down here. Let's see what we doing. And this is real important too, right? Because we already know, you know what I'm saying? We already know Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10 says, never trust thine enemy, right? And there's many scriptures that let you know to never trust your enemy, why not to trust your enemy, and all these different things, the dangers of trusting your enemy, right? But the important thing is, like right now today, like Martin Luther King, right? For example, he did that, you know what I'm saying, that whole march, that whole movement just to, you know what I'm saying, sleep with white women in a hotel, right? That whole integration thing so that we can all go to the same school and work in the same jobs and be in the same economy and integrate with one another. And he thought that was going to be all great, right? He did that because he wasn't able to identify his enemies. Right? Like even with all the oppression, the ice cream being poured on you with chocolate sauce and the hoses, the dogs, the bricks to the noggin, you know what I'm saying? All of that, like he still couldn't identify his enemy. So that's the whole reason why we still love our enemy and we still want to integrate and marry and, you know what I'm saying, be in close proximity, do business with our enemy because we can't identify our enemy. So that's the whole point of this class tonight, so that we can identify our enemy in the English and also in the Hebrew, so that we can talk amongst one another and identify our enemy in our own language without, you know what I'm saying, causing contention and, you know what I'm saying, we can, what's the word? We can covertly identify our enemy amongst one another so that we can get out of here, so that we can separate. You know what I'm saying? Just like what's her name? You know what I'm saying? Sue Lee and Zumbutu and all the, you know what I'm saying, when they be doing our sisters' hair and nails, they be talking all types of garbage about our sisters right in front of their face. They don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? They got your foot in your hand. Salaki, I got you. They got your foot in their hand, you know what I'm saying, getting your bunions, you know what I'm saying, scraping your bunions off, and they got the nerve to have the pride to be sneak dissing and talking amongst themselves in their language about you. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get on that same page, all right? You know what I'm saying? By learning our language and learning how to identify our enemy in our language, right? What you have pre-Slocky?
Oh, Slocky. So okay, so when you ask somebody something, do you do it like when you say English? Like I'll say like I ask you my avocado, like that, or my avocado. Well, you already know would be a question. Okay, you know how we have a question. What is your father?
Right.
My avocado. Would be like that, or I could just say my avocado.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter how you say it.
Okay.
Like it's like cause we you know what I'm saying, just the way we speak,
right,
our inflection,
okay, I got you,
will let you know what it is. Like you could be like, let me see, I don't want to say nothing vulgar or let me think. Okay, so like the word yeah. So you ask,
yeah,
right, yeah. So yeah, right. So you like somebody asks you, somebody say something to you, like yeah, or they ask you a question, you like yeah, or they say something wild, you like yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Or like something you hype, you like yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
for the content. So,
yeah,
okay, gotcha.
yeah. Your inflection will give the context.
Gotcha.
Well, that was an excellent question. So so how we respond to this question? Ma abaka. Like just, okay, so just for an example, right? So you like you ask him, like you know what I'm saying, you see a brother acting a little funny, or they're like they just love their oppressor. Like for example, like when brothers and sisters call up on Cross the Line and they trying to debate that God loves everybody.
Yeah.
You like also we know the spirit behind the question.
Right.
Because there's nowhere in the Bible that says that God loves everybody, but there's plenty of places in the Bible that say that they are spittle in Second Esdras, where the Most High says that He chose us to be a special people. Right. In Deuteronomy. There's so many places that says that the Most High loves us and hates them. Romans 9:13, right? So it's obvious, but they still pose the argument. Like they still want to have 2-3 hour debates about it. So we know the spirit behind it. The reason why you're asking, or the reason why you're trying to debate it, is because you love your oppressor for some reason. Right. So then you would have to ask, like, what's the nationality of your father? Or what's your mother? Right. Or what's the nationality of your rib? That's a bonus question, right? So the sister, I see you put the answer in the question, or the answer to the question in the chat. So how would you say, what is your wife? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put it up here, right? Like, so how would you ask that? You know what is your wife? Right? So we already, you know what I'm saying, did a little bit of practice with the word mother, right? So we're gonna practice using another word, wife. All right. So just to reiterate, the reason why, the most 9 times out of 10, the reason why you have Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who have been oppressed by every nation in the earth, the only reason why they would debate that the Most High loves everybody, which is a lie, is because either their mother is a heathen, they're heathen themselves, or they're sleeping with heathens. You know what I'm saying? So we can tell the spirit behind it. All right. So with that being said, how would you say, what is your wife? Okay, that's well. Let me ask you like this. What do you call your wife?
Rib.
Okay, what else?
Help me.
No. What do you call it? Like,
A woman.
so the word for wife is the same as woman. Because this book is about us. So the same way we talk, like, yeah, that's my woman, that's my lady. You know what I'm saying? No, that's sister.
Dang, I forgot.
My wife. Oh, it's lucky. Let me see. Let me get sister.
You know that now.
Yo, what's up?
Can you give a hint?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you this. So you know the word for man? It's the same as husband.
I know it's odd something.
Yes. Really,
Damn.
honorable man.
Resign.
That's honorable.
Man.
So
Ayash.
right. So Ayash is man.
That's right.
Yeah. Woman would be
Ayah. Hi, Ayah.
close. It's I'm gonna give it to you for time's sake. It's Asha.
Oh.
That's how you would say woman or wife. So we got my. So how would you ask that question? What is your wife?
I would say, you said how would I ask it?
Yeah. How would you ask somebody, what is your wife?
Say my Ashaka.
I'm right. One time Christ. Give yourself a hand.
What's all right? Okay.
Asha Ka. What is your wife? You know what I'm saying? Because if you, I see you, sis, most high Christ. Give yourself a hand, sis. Well, Ma Asha Ka. Because we know that if your wife is a heathen, you know what I'm saying, she can come to the barbecue. You know what I'm saying? We had this glorious cookout in Houston, Texas.
That's right.
And get a Lord's barbecue in here in Houston, Texas. Most high Christ. You know what I'm saying? And as glorious as that cookout was, it was so glorious because there were no heathens present. And that is the kingdom of heaven. You don't got no heathens present. Okay, most I cry. I see you, sis. Salaki. But it was so glorious because there was no heathens present, right? And that's for a reason. So if you a brother, you know what I'm saying, you welcome to the cookout. But if you got a heathen wife or heathen children, Salakia, but they can't sit with us, man. We can't have no heathens present to the Passover, to the no holy gathering of the Most High's people, man.
That's right.
What's the precept on that? Oh yeah, it's like it was just right on the top of my head, and I just lost it.
That's why they now dwell with the children of Israel, the congregation of Israel.
Mm-hmm. That's in Deuteronomy too.
That's in Deuteronomy, but they were talking about the Asians doing with us. It should not. It says like they. I think it's Deuteronomy 23:25.
Okay, most high Christ.
It says no Moabite, no Ammonite should.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Most high Christ. Most high Christ. So in Deuteronomy, and also in Leviticus, when it talks about the feast days, it says that, you know what I'm saying, it's a holy convocation, and that it's a convocation for our people, right?
That's right.
Only our people, and that's what makes these things so glorious, because, you know what I'm saying, we can dwell with one another who understands one another's pain. You got something?
So it's Deuteronomy 23:3. We're talking about the Ammonites and the Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Most high Christ, damn right. Get out of hand. That's what makes these things so glorious, and that's what makes, you know what I'm saying, that's the kingdom of heaven. When you don't have an oppressor standing next to you, you gotta act like you're not offended by this oppressor because you know he don't give a damn about you.
Right.
And you don't have to act like you offended. You don't have to act like you're not offended by your rapist and your robber and your murderer. Like, what kind of sense do that make? You know what I'm saying? You got somebody who's murdered your whole nation of people, and then you gotta stand next to them. You gotta fix him a burger. You know what I'm saying? You gotta cook him, you know what I'm saying, some smoked turkey legs and some menudo and some, you know what I'm saying, you gotta cook and eat with him and feast with him. That's why Thanksgiving, Slaki, I don't want to go on a rant, but that's why Thanksgiving don't make no damn sense.
Right.
Like, that's because we have to sit here and feast with we have to sit there and sit across the table from your oppressor. Somebody who raped, robbed, and murdered and stole this land from you, and now you have to celebrate that every year? You have to go broke and celebrate that every year. Man, nah. That is hell. That is hell.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? Slaki, let's get back on topic. So how would you answer this question? So, Ma Asha Ka, what is your wife? How would you answer that question, right? Consensus. So the name for woman will be the same as wife. Right. So let me see. So you had something?
I got it.
Okay, no sir. Go ahead.
So it'll be Ma Shaka Yashalo.
Close, but now you're answering the question.
Hold on. I'm answering?
Yeah, you're answering the question.
Slaki.
So I'm asking you,
Oh,
Ma Asha Ka, what is your wife?
Asha Yashalo.
Damn right. Good night. That just rolled off the tongue like butter. Damn right. Asha Ka, or Salaki, Asha Ya, Yasha, or we talking about Edom now, all right?
Okay.
So, Asha Ya, so my wife is Edom, right? Not my wife. Good night. Never. But if you're, hypothetically, we're going to play, you know what I'm saying? We're going to use our imagination. If your wife was an Edomite, how would you say Edom? Right. Asha Ya. Asha Ya. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see the sister already. Sister on top of it. You want to give it a shot or you just going to Okay, no sweat. So, Edom in the Lashawan Qadash, like the sister put in the chat, is Allah Da Wam.
That's Edom?
Yeah, Adawam. And this word also means red.
Adawam.
Adawam. Let me see. What we got?
Whoever the sister going off. I thought, dog, good night. I thought it was Slaki.
No. I see you getting there, priest.
I give out. Sister showing out on me.
Most time Christ. And it's excellent that, you know what I'm saying, sisters is picking it up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the sisters is going to be the ones that have to teach the children.
That's right.
So give these sisters a hand. Right. Yeah, keep on keeping on, sis. You know what I'm saying? Keep on getting down. So, Adawam. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to, you know what I'm saying, be our time to, you know what I'm saying, write it down, get it in y'all notes. If you watch it online and, you know what I'm saying, if I'm moving too fast, you know what I'm saying, you can either just stop me, you know what I'm saying, feel free to ask questions at any time, or, you know what I'm saying, just rewind the joint. But we gonna get down, all right? All right, so the next one, right? We got Moab. We'll talk about these Moabites. Ling Ling and Suli and seafood such and such and
Mm-mm.
all of that. Jackie Chan and
you are
we gonna get down, all right? So how we say, okay, so the question, Ma Ashaka, question is still the same. What is your wife? Ma Ashaka. You'll respond. So you'll respond how? You know what I'm saying? How would we say Moab? How would we say Moab in the Lashawan Qadash?
Oh, she gonna beat it to it.
I ain't gonna lie, I would be surprised if anybody but a priest is able to.
You already know.
Because all of this,
Yep.
well, I ain't gonna say nothing, but
Right.
you know, if you a priest and you got your priesthood, you should hide it somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Where you
Okay. Okay.
You close, sis. You close, and I'm gonna touch on that too. I'm gonna touch on that because who do they say? Well, I don't want to bombard y'all with questions, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask. And why you getting that, priest? So who do they say in the Bible? What's the most controversy about who they think is a Moabite in the Bible? What's the most controversy? What you got, priest? Ruth, right. But there's something. Now, why do they say that she's a Moabite?
Because she was born in the land.
Right. You got a precept?
I forgot what that preacher was at.
Okay, no sweat. Let me see if I can find it real fast.
But I got the name from Moabite though.
Oh, most sound correct. Go ahead and get down, priest.
It's Moab.
Say that again.
Moab.
Damn right. Hey, give yourself credit. The sister put it in the chat real fast.
Oh, she already beat me to it?
Well, almost. But she said Mawa'aba.
Oh, she
Right.
forgot to drop the A.
Yeah. But you was real close, sis. Excellent job. The water for your participation. Excellent job. So, let me see. What we got? Mawa'ab. Now, the reason why, let me see. In the book of Ruth, chapter 2 and 6, it calls her a Moabitish. It calls her Moabitish, right? Because what the priest said, she's from the land. Now, if you go into the Strong's Concordance, you go into the Strong Concordance, you go into the Blue Letter Bible, the Bible Hub, you go into any of those documents, it's not going to say Mawa'ab like the priest and the sister said. It's not going to say Mawa'ab. It's going to say Mawa'ab Yum. I'm not mistaken. There's a reason why it doesn't say Mawa'ab, because she's not a Moabite. Like the priest said, she was just born in the land. So that's why instead of saying, if she was a Moabite, it would say Mawa'ab. But in the scriptures, it says Mawa'ab Yum, because it says Moabitish, because she was just born in the plains of Moab, which was an inheritance that was given to, I want to say, Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben. And just to, just on that note, the reason why that they stayed in that land was because, well, I'm not gonna, that's a whole different topic. I'm gonna try to stay on topic slack. So Moab is Ma, Wa, Am. Right? So, all right, we're going to get right on to the next joint, right? So now we're going to talk about, they, what do they call it? They brother, right? I think that was Laban's children, right? Moab and Ammon. Am I tripping? Or not Laban.
Lot.
Lot, yeah, Cont, Salakia.
Yeah, that was grandchildren.
Oh man, that whole situation.
Oh yeah, his children Slocky.
Yeah, his children, grandchildren, children. Good night. Yeah, so Moab and Ammon, right? We're gonna talk about these what they call them. These what's the word for it? It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll come back to it.
Or the rhythm or something like that?
No, it's a word. Oh, go ahead, hand me the business. All right, so we're gonna talk about Ammon, right? Ammon, right? The brother of Moab, right? From Lot, right? Because his daughters got him drunk and tricked him into sleeping with them to give them children. Because they after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, they were worried that they wouldn't have children and be able to continue the bloodline, right? They'll continue, you know what I'm saying, their family, right? So they did something extremely disgusting and sick, right? And they slept with their father, right? So that's why, what's the word? I wish I could think of the word. But, you know what I'm saying? So they got Moab, which is the Chinese, Salakia, if I didn't say that before. Moabites is the so-called Chinese, right? Moab is the so-called Chinese, and Ammon is the so-called Japanese, the progenitors of the Chinese and the Japanese, right? Damn, what's the word?
So I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I meant to ask this earlier. I forgot. Okay, so say it's me and you talking, and I'm asking you. I'm talking about somebody else in the world. Right? I want to know who their father is. So would it still be the same? Would I be like Ma? Would I be like Ma Abawai? Ma Abawai?
It depends on if it's a boy or if it's a man or a woman.
A man. So I'm asking you. We have a conversation.
Right.
We talking about some brother in the world. We don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I'm asking, and you know him.
Right. So if you're asking me, if we're having a conversation, you're asking me about a brother, then what you said was correct.
Oh, it'll be just that simple.
Ma ama wa.
Okay.
So yeah. Ma ama wa.
Okay.
What's his father? Or ma asha wa. What's his wife? What's his wife's nationality? Right?
It'll be the same thing. Me asking him.
Now, if you're asking him,
right,
you would say ma asha ka, or ma ama ka, or ma aba ka.
Gotcha.
You're talking to him.
It make it more direct. Would it be like that? With the ka, like I know the ka is no processors, But I'm saying, like, does it give it? I guess could say, what is your father? So
yeah, like, or you just think about it how niggas talk. It's like how brothers talk. You know what I'm saying? What's your father?
Okay.
What's your wife?
Gotcha.
What's your mother?
Masha, okay.
So the is implied, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, if I'm just talking to you, Shalaki, I'm just talking to you, and so I act about the other brother weird. I'll say ma asha. That's it.
Ma asha. You change the suffix. So ka is talking to
him.
It's saying you.
Right. I'm talking to that brother.
Right.
His real.
But if you're talking to me about another brother, you would say him. What is his wife? What is his mother, father? And then you would use the suffix for his. Right.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that changes.
and it'll be ka. No, slack it. Nah, slack it.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to see what's the suffix for ka is. Ka, right?
For his?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you work through it.
Dang. Cause yeah, what be what is your it'll be ka because say it's implied.
No, the is implied, so you don't have to worry about the is. So ma is what? Then you just say Abba, Amma, whatever you're talking about, wife, Asha, okay. And then you would just change the suffix. That's why I wrote it in red. That's the only thing that changes.
Okay.
So if you're talking to him, your,
right,
or if you're talking to him, you'll say ka. Okay. But if you're talking to me about him or her, or let me just leave it on him. If you're talking to me about him, you would use the suffix for his or he.
Okay.
Which is
okay. What is that? I only got two. That is what?
Right. Damn right. So that's the only thing that changes. So if I'm talking to you, ma abaka.
Yeah.
What's your father? Ma abba ha. What's her father? Ma abba wa. What's his father?
Oh, I got you.
Ma abba nawa.
Right. Okay.
What's our father?
Right. So, okay, that's what I thought. So when I'm talking to somebody else, I'll say, I'll talk about. If I'm talking about somebody else, I'll be ma abba why. Okay, ma abba why.
Right.
I'm asking you about his father.
Right.
Okay, got you.
I'm right. Excellent question.
What's my correct?
Right, so where we at? Damn. What's the word? It's a lot here.
Is it an English word?
Yeah, it's an English word for. It's not. We use it all the time. Damn, it's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me. But Moab and Ammon are the result of incest, right? Which is mongoloid. Damn right, the water. Mongoloid. That's the word.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, Mongolians are the result of intermarriage between Moab and Ammon. So that's where that word Mongolian comes from. Mongoloid. Because they are incestuous. They are children of incest, which is why. Well, I don't want to get flagged. Let me just slow down. All right, so like you, sir. So when you're writing to someone, you connect the suffix to the root word. Right, exactly. That's how, and it's the same for prepositions. So it's the same for prepositions as well. So the prepositions, all those prepositions you see here, and the possessors that you see here, those will be connected to the root word. And that's how you are, that'll make it easier. Once you understand that, that's how it'll make it easy to read the Hebrew.
Right.
Because you'll see a jumbled up mess of characters. Let me think of an example. I can't think of an example. But if you read the Hebrew, if you constantly, like during a Sabbath service, if you practice and you get familiar with it, you'll be able to identify, like, okay, this is a preposition, this is a preposition. So you'll see Baha, for example, Baha, for example, okay, so our oppressor is in their heaven. So if you're talking to an oppressor, like you're in your heaven, right? You would say that in Hebrew, Baha Shemayim Ka. So Baha, let me write it in the Hebrew. And this is what this is how you are able to, you'll be able to pick apart the Hebrew. So you got ba, ha, sha, ma, yum, basha, mayum, ka. Right? So all of these are attached. All of these characters are attached. But when you're reading the Hebrew, you'll be able to identify, like, okay, this is in the beginning. You can assume that that's a preposition. Ba, you got ha, that's a preposition because it's at the beginning. And then you got ka at the end, you know that that's a possessive. So you'll be able to see this as the root word. So baha shamayim ka. Ba meaning in, ha meaning Salakia. Salakia. I'm tripping. So ba shamayim ka, Salakia. That's how you would say in your heaven. So you got ba meaning in, ka meaning your, and then you have shamayim meaning heaven. So in your heaven, ba shamayim ka. But the possessives will be attached to the word when you're writing to somebody, and the preposition will be attached to the root word as well. I hope that answered your question. So let me know if you need a little bit more. You need another example. These are all excellent questions. So where we at? All right. So these Mongolos, right? So we talking about Ammon. I already write this. Ammon. All right. If you don't have it in your notes already, the Ammonites are the so-called Japanese, right? And so how would you say? So I asked you, ma, asha, ka. Right? Well, it's already on the board, so I ain't gonna go there. But you know what I'm saying? How would you say Ammon in the Lashawan Qadash? Right? I'll give you a second to give it a shot before I go ahead and put it on the board. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna write it in the Lashawan Qadash. And then most time in Christ. I see your sister. Your sister got Gonna go to the comments. All right, so we got. Handle your business, priest. The sister is absolutely correct. All right. Okay, I see you. Okay. So now, I see you, sister, in Most High Christ. Now we are able to have conversations in Lashawan Qadash, right? In our own language, right? And this is the most important conversation you're going to have with a brother or sister. Who are you associated with? Who is your mother? Who is your father? Who is your wife? What is the nationality of your children? What is the nationality of the people that you love the most? because the people that you love the most, the people that you choose to sleep with and let in your home and associate with, is going to affect your spirit. So these are the most important questions that you are going to have to ask somebody. What's your father? That's the most important one. What's your father? Are you a heathen? You can't sit with us. Okay. What's your father? Are you a Judite? Okay. Well, what's the nationality of your mother? Oh, your mother's a Edomite. Okay. Does God love everybody? Does God love everybody? Depending on their allegiance to their mother, because a lot of us are raised without our fathers, depending on their allegiance to their mother, they may, you know what I'm saying, even though that is a brother, they may try to battle with you and tell you that the Most High loves everybody. Why? Because they love their mother. And they can't fathom the idea that the Most High God doesn't love their mother. You know what I'm saying? Because they love their mother. There's nothing wrong with loving your mother. But these are important questions, and that's going to affect that brother's spirit. You know what I'm saying? If he don't have the truth. You're like, oh, your mother's a heathen, so you got to, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Oh, you can't sleep with heathens? So now you have to combat the Bible because you want to sleep with heathens. Or your children, or, you know what I'm saying? Or, or your, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, you have to combat the Bible because what you want isn't in the Bible. Or what that brother or what that sister wants isn't in the Bible. Slacky, you had your hand up?
Oh, no, yeah, I'm just gonna see the answer for the how to respond to.
Okay, go ahead. So I'm gonna ask you, Ma Ashaka.
Ashaya, my one.
Say that again.
Okay, it's Ashaya, I'm a one.
Oh, Most High Christ. Most High Christ. Now that's exactly. Most High Christ. Give yourselves a hand, man. Now, y'all doing your thing, man. So, I'm a one. That's how you would say Amen in. Let me see. That's how you would say Amen in the Lashawan Qadash, or the so-called Japanese. In English, let me see. I'm a one. Amen. All right, so next up we got Ishmael. Now we know who Ishmael is, right? We know who Ishmael, the culture vultures. You know what I'm saying? They stole and bastardized our language, turned it into Arabic. They bastardized our culture. You know what I'm saying? And this is the brother of Isaac, who was born from a heathen woman. Which we're gonna get into it, which is why we talking about this, because Ishmael's father was a Judite. Wait a minute, Slacky, because that was before before the nations were established, right? So Slacky, I can't say that, but his father was Abraham, though, who the covenant was given to by the Most High, right? But he wasn't given the covenant. What's the precept on that? Slacky.
Psalms 147.
Psalms 147. Let me go to it real quick.
Well, that's one talking about you talking about
one that says not by
you talking about Genesis. You talking about Genesis? We're talking about that inherit the kingdom through Sarah.
Yeah, is that in Genesis?
It gotta be. Yeah, it gotta be in Genesis. In 19 and Genesis 19:15.
Okay, no sweat. But the point is, the scriptures say that the even though like the birthright is through who is chosen. The Most High chose Abraham, even though Ishmael is his child, and I believe it was firstborn, right?
Yeah.
Even though Ishmael was a firstborn, and traditionally the firstborn is the inheritor of the father. You know what I'm saying? The blessings of the father, right? But the inheritance went to who the Most High chose. So the Most High didn't choose Ishmael, even though he's the firstborn. The Most High didn't choose Edom or Esau, even though he's the firstborn. The Most High chose Isaac. So the blessing went to Isaac, and then Isaac passed the blessing down to Jacob, not Esau.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, it's Genesis 17 and 19.
Oh, you go.
Yeah. And God says, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seeds after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I will bless him and will make him fruitful and multiply exceedingly. 12% not he beget, and I will he shall beget, and I will make him a great nation. So you saying is in 19 that he gonna covenants with Isaac.
What's up, Kirby? Yeah, that brother hand. There's another one, Twist. I wish I could off the top of my head after find it. But it's I believe it's in the Apocrypha. I believe it's in the Apocrypha. But you know, who's Ishmael's brother? Salakia. Isaac was chosen, not Ishmael. Just like Jacob was chosen and not Esau. All right. So in the Lashawan Qadash, right, you would say Ishmael. I'm gonna write it in the Assyrian, right, and I'm gonna let y'all. All right. So let me see. To say Ishmael in the Lashawan Qadash. So to answer that question, what you would say is, okay, so if I ask you Ma Ashaka, you would say, you want to give it a shot or you want?
Yeah, I can give a shot.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I'll answer Ashaya Yashamayala. Yashamayala.
Yashamayala.
Yeah, for Ishmael.
Oh, damn right. That's exactly right.
Yashamayala.
Yeah, Yashamayala.
Yashamayala. Okay.
All right. Let me see. Where's Genesis 25? Genesis 25. That's where Ishmael was born, right?
Genesis?
Yeah.
I think that's Jacob and Esau.
Oh, it's a lot.
That's like Genesis 7, like 16, chapter 16, I think, all the way to 19, something like that. That's Ishmael.
Let me see. Salaki. That's the generations of Ishmael, Salaki. Let me. Genesis 16. Is that what you said? Lucky.
Nah, I was on 17.
Okay, no sweat. No, you was right there though. So Yasha Ma Allah. Right? So a little bonus real quick. Just join, you know what I'm saying? What if you could just, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and put what city, what you know what I'm saying, go ahead and get in class, all right? If you want to, you know what I'm saying, if you want to talk to the Hebrew Israelites, so called, you know what I'm saying, just get in class, you know what I'm saying, stay diligent, you know what I'm saying, Most High in Christ for seeing you up in here, sis. But the next step, you know what I'm saying, if you want to learn more about our culture, about your culture, just get in class, all right? Like you're doing right now, Most High in Christ. And good to see you. Get that sister ahead. Is that a sister? Red's Real Ranch. I don't know. My bad. I'm sorry if I'm if I'm, you know what I'm saying, a sister or brother, you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying, just get in class, you know what I'm saying, whatever, you know what I'm saying, watch online, you know what I'm saying. But the ISUPK is the home of the truth since 1969. And every other Israelite group broke off from the home of the truth. All right, which is right here in the ISUPK. So if you know what I'm saying, if you want to have a conversation with these brothers, you know what I'm saying, just get in class and get in contact with the camp leader in your zone. All right. But all right, so Genesis chapter 16, verse 11, and it says, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, talking about Sarah, right? Behold, thou art with child, or no, slack here. Talking about Hagar, right? Talking about Hagar, which was the heathen wife of Abraham, right? It says, and the angel of the Lord said unto her, talking about Hagar, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. So the word there, when you hear somebody being named in the scriptures and it talks about why they're named that, the name comes from the reason they were given the name. So it says, you will call his name Ishmael because the Lord hath heard your affliction. So what's the word for here? We talked about it last week or last Lashawan Qadash class. We can give y'all just a little bit of time, right? I'm going to ask this, right? How would you tell a brother or sister, listen, in Hebrew? You want to give it a shot first, or you?
Slack.
Oh, no, so it's slacking. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and, oh, that's you. No time first. All right, so we got, like we talked about in last class, the name Simeon, the so-called Dominicans, and that's Slovakia. I think last class I misspoke and said that they were the Haitians. Those are the Dominicans. So I meant to say, but I misspoke, Slovakia. So just to be clear, for whoever attended last class and was a little confused, Shemaiwan is the progenitor of the tribe of the Dominicans today. All right. So Shemaiwan was given that name because the Most High heard I believe it was Leah, right? That she was, you know what I'm saying, she heard her affliction, that she felt like she was hated, right? That she was barren for a while, she wasn't able to bear her husband a son, and you know what I'm saying. You know, she wanted the attention, she wanted the affection from her husband, right? Or she wanted favor from her husband, right? So Shammai 1 means hearing, right? So what's the word for hear or listen? How would you tell a brother or sister, you know what I'm saying, that's talking too much to listen in the Lashawan Qadash? You know what I'm saying? You don't really hear it too much in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, or you don't really hear it too much in the ISUPK, or you know what I'm saying, because we discipline. But if a brother has lost his discipline, or you know what I'm saying, he talking a little too much, or a sister, one of our ribs, you know what I'm saying, talking a little too much, how would you say, listen, go ahead.
Oh, Shema.
Most High in Christ. Yeah, that brother, man. So to say Ishmael is Yashemai Allah, right? So, and as it says in Genesis 16, the angel told Hagar to name her son Ishmael because the Most High has heard her affliction, right? So Yashemai Allah, right? So now we have the chance to pick apart this word, right? So we got the root word right here. We know the root word right here is Shammai in this name. So Shammai means here. So that would mean that this is what?
Possession.
Possession. So it's at the beginning of the word.
Possession. I'm saying it wrong. Possession. Possession. What is it? Not possession. Preposition.
Right.
I can't
Right.
get that word.
Let me rewrite it up here. I think I bumped into this board a little bit. But our priest is absolutely correct. This is a preposition. And this is what character is this?
Yeah.
And what does the preposition Yah mean?
Ma.
Well, that's at the end of, if it's at the end of a word, it means me or ma. But at the beginning of a word, it means what?
Oh, he.
Right. So he, this root word means here. And then Allah.
A power.
Right. So, power, angel, messenger, power or authority. So he talking about the Most High. That's what this preposition is referring to. He talking about the Most High power has heard Hagar's affliction. All right. Yah Shemai Allah. All right. So that's where that name comes from. Just to give a little background. All right. Just for a little bit of practice. All right. Got a couple more. Might have to do a little part two. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more before we go to the next. So before we click it, all right. So we're gonna talk about Elam, all right? Elam. So what is your wife? My wife is Elam, right? Good night. If you ask a brother, you know what I'm saying, what is your wife? He responds, my wife is Elam. You would ask in Hebrew, Ma Ashaka. What is your wife? Ma Ashaka. All right? You will respond, Ashaya. Let me see. I'm going to write it on the board and let y'all work through it. You got it?
Yeah.
You wanna write on the board? You too well.
I guess I do. Okay.
I'll let you take a notes. Unless you want to come up and write it. I'll let you.
I'm too wild.
Okay, most
I'm
time.
confused on this.
No sweat. Let me see. Right, good up here. So we got Elam, right?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, most time correct. How you say Elam? How would you answer that question? So I'm gonna ask you,
Uh-huh.
Ma Ashaka.
Asha ya ayalam. Ayalam.
Damn right. Damn right. Give yourself a hand. Ashaya Ayalam.
Yeah, ayalam.
No, you said it right. You said it right. Right, it's in English. Ayalam. Ayalam. All right. So you ask that brother Ma Ashaka. You know what I'm saying? You see that brother, you know what I'm saying? You trying to talk to that brother, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The Lord don't love the Most High. Salakia. Take a seat for a second. The Most High don't love everybody, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All these other nations had a hand in our captivity. You know what I'm saying? You get to talking about, because some brothers will be like on board. They'll be all about it. You know what I'm saying? You talk about, yeah, the so-called Esau, the devil, you know what I'm saying? The oppressor, the devil the Bible speaks of, man. They the oppressor, all this and that. They be like, yeah, damn right. Yeah, that's the devil. Damn right. The transatlantic slave trade. Yeah, what's wrong with them? You know what I'm saying? We need to separate from them. And then you get the naming off these nations like, yeah, man, the so-called oppressor, you know what I'm saying? He came and stole us. You know what I'm saying? You get to talking about, well, you know what I'm saying? Like all the nations, you know what I'm saying? The Africans, they rounded us up. We gonna get into the Africans later. Right? Next week. But you know what I'm saying? The Africans rounded us up and sold us to the so-called oppressor, and the Amalekite, the so-called Jewish man, they financed the whole trip. They insured the whole trip. And then you get to talking about what the so-called the Arab man, which is Elam, the so-called Arab, he built the ships.
Right.
And they might be like, wait a minute. Now the oppressor ain't the devil no more.
Right.
Because now you didn't touch the sore spot. So now you gotta ask, like, okay, what's wrong with, I mean, it's the truth, you can look it up. The so-called Arab man, their nation built the ships that brought slaves over here.
Right.
That stole our people, that stole this country. Like, they built the ships. So you get to talking about that, it's like, oh, so you got a sore spot for Elam, so-called Arabs. Or, you know what I'm saying, you got so-called Muslims. You know what I'm saying? Our people go into the Muslim culture or the Muslim religion and get fooled by their customs. So you see they got a little allegiance to the Muslims. So now you get to asking questions like, oh, let's see, that's a sore spot. So what's the nationality of your father? Okay, are you a Judite? Okay, so if your father's a Judite, what's the nationality of your mother? Or in Hebrew, Ma Ama Ka. What's the nationality of your mother? What's your mother? Oh, my mother's a Judite. Oh, so your father's a Judite, your mother's a Judite. Okay, so what's the nationality of your wife? Because there's a reason why you have a certain allegiance to this heathen nation. Because me telling you, and you looking up the history on your own, that they built the ships, and me telling you that they built the ships is not enough for you. You still want to battle me and tell me that they still can be saved. That the Most High loves these people. And that was Isaac's brother, right? Well, what's my ashaka? And then you'll find that the truth is uncovered. Like, oh, okay, well, my wife is a Elamite. My wife is an Arab. Oh, that makes sense. So if that brother responds, Ashaya, Ayalam, now that makes sense why this brother has so much of a deep allegiance to this heathen nation, to this people that had a hand in rape, robbing, and murdering, and enslaving and stealing this people's Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans' culture and their people, in their land, and their language. Right? So this is just to reiterate before we get up out of here. That's the whole reason why it's important for us to be able to identify these nations, not only in English, but their biblical names, and also in the Lashawan Qadash. You know what I'm saying? So to speak amongst one another, and we can pinpoint the type of demon and the type of spirit that's on a brother or a sister, and why we can't seem to break away from the people who have raped, robbed, and murdered us. A lot of the times you'll find that the reason why this person has such an allegiance to the devil that the Bible speaks of, the oppressor, their rapist, robber, murderer, their abuser. The reason why they have such an allegiance is because somebody close to them is of that nation. So that's why these questions are important. You know what I'm saying? But with that, you know what I'm saying, the water to all the brothers and sisters who participated throughout the class, we're going to end it right there. Next week, we're going to go over the next 6 nations of the Bible in the Hebrew, in the Lashawan Qadash. We're going to learn how to write it, read it, and we're going to learn how to, you know what I'm saying, form sentences, form questions like we did tonight in last class. But the water, you know what I'm saying, with that, Shalom, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Brakathum, to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh, Shema, Latah, Bashim, Yahushua, to all the sisters.